Hi, I'm Supervisor Nick D'Alessandro, and welcome to one of our informational series. Sometimes we come to the public and want to give some information about different things going on in our community, just so you have an idea what's happening, and also to get a better idea of how the town board is looking to help our community. So the town board several years ago decided that we needed to make sure that we take action and identify mental health as a community issue. And we really wanted to try to improve this. So at that time, we decided that we were going to hire our behavioral health specialist, Mr. Brian Hannaran, and this was in partnership with Mental Health America. And we think that this is a big step. It was and is a big step towards combating this community crisis. So today I'm here with our Councilman Emmanuel Marinaro and our behavioral health specialist, Mr. Brian Hannaran. How's everybody doing?
Good. So good.
Yeah. Doing all right. So, Mr. Hannaran, why don't you give us a little bit, discuss yourself. Tell us how'd you get started? How'd you want to get into this field?
Yeah, so I started out, I graduated from Western Connecticut State University with a bachelor's degree in psychology. So after that, I've been kind of in multiple mental health roles, eventually landing into the role I'm currently with right now with the behavioral health specialist with Mental Health America and the ECHO team and the town of East Fishkill. So I'm currently also enrolled for my master's degree right now at Sacred Heart University. So I'll be graduating next year with a master's in social work.
Excellent.
We've asked Brian to kind of do a presentation with us because we realize that in our community there are some people that need help and they really have no guidance how to or where to find that help. They're good people, family people. I personally, from living in a community from time to time, have met with some of these people. And why are we introducing Brian into the picture is because it is difficult for somebody like us to really deal with people like they have some kind of temporarily or permanent mental issue. And so we're doing this presentation to kind of have the community be aware that there is help out there. We do have a way that we could come out and help whoever needs our services. And so Brian, basically, what do you think in our community, in a community like Opal Junction, how do you feel you would approach somebody that needs some kind of guidance or how to better themselves?
So, I mean, every approach is unique and different. It really depends on the person and their situation. Some people I can tell are more approachable than, maybe some other people. So if they're willing and open to me being approached by me, then I'll go up and I'll interact with them that way. Some people, it's through calls with the police department because I am embedded with the police department. So I go out on calls with them. So if they have anything that might require my type of services, then I'll go out with the police department and I'll engage with them that way and interact with whoever the community member is and help them try and get connected with resources.
Excellent. So what are some of the more common mental health or behavioral issues you see in our community?
Well, there's definitely a wide variety, and you'll see that everywhere. Myself personally, I see a lot of schizophrenia, a lot of substance use, and bipolar disorder, which are very common disorders to have and to have to deal with and manage throughout daily life.
Mm-hmm. And thinking about the population that we serve, I mean, right now, as you just mentioned, there is drugs issues going on with the younger population. But we might also have some of those issues with people that, let's say, they had to get an operation and that they had to use medication to really address the pain, and then somehow they fall into that category. You see yourself with issues more like social issues that create this situation, or is it more like a dependency on certain either alcohol or drugs?
Yeah. So there's a wide range of reasons why people use different substances. It could be like for something like you said, as far as, they go in for a medical procedure and then it turns into a dependency. It could be possibly dealing with certain stresses of life, so that way they turn to substances. It could be peer pressure or social pressure. There's a huge range of just different the avenues that people end up into substance use and abuse. And so it really depends on the person, and that's the kind of hard nitty-gritty part of this is, each person has their own unique story in their own way that they ended up with the issues that or struggles they may be having. There is assistance, though, that is available, and so if there is someone who would like to get help, even if it is for substance use, not necessarily mental health type things, but even if it is just purely a substance abuse issue, they can reach out to me and I can help facilitate getting them into either a detox, an inpatient, outpatient treatment, whatever may be the best fit for them.
Okay, so in saying that, they can reach out to you. There's different avenues that you can guide them to. In saying what your job does with the police department, you mentioned that you're on the ECHO program or task force. So what is that exactly, if you could explain that?
So it stands for Enhancing Community Health Through Outreach. And so what we do is we're embedded with the police department. We respond out with the police department on their calls. We do crisis intervention and de-escalation with them, as well as, I should say, as following up with the community members after the call to ensure that they do have connections to the resources and the offer for resources is there. It's one of those things where they do have to voluntarily be willing to accept the resources, but the offer is always going to be there, and we help facilitate them getting connected with whatever resource that they may need. It could vary, and it's all unique to each individual person and in each call, as well as doing outreach, so going out into the community, engaging with the different community members and seeing them through different town events, and just going out and being out and around in the town.
So not only if there's the initial contact, if someone's reaching out for help, you do follow up as well?
Yes, yep. I always follow up with everybody. Any call I do, I always try and get contact information, follow up with them, either a day or two later or whatever it may be, to help facilitate any possible resources or connections that they might need.
Excellent.
So for everyone out there in our community, if in case you do have somebody or somebody, a friend, family member, they might need Brian's assistance or have somebody in our community to respond to any issues, you could reach our local police department, 845-221-2111, or at the county level, we have 845-473-2500, extension 3102. So, Brian, if somebody calls you or contacts you and says, look, I have a family member that even though that one individual thinks that he or she is fine, we know that things are not going right. Mm-hmm. And what do you do once you get that phone call?
So there's a couple of things we could do. It really depends on what struggles the person is dealing with. So there's always the possibility of me going out and just trying to speak with them, seeing what services or what resources they might be willing to connect with and engage with. And then there's also the possibility we can talk about what they can do as a family member or a friend or as a support to help, as a support system to help this person and what actions they can do as a support to help guide this person.
Okay, so sometimes if there's family members, especially our youth and adolescents, and the parents may perceive that there is an issue, but before it becomes a real crisis, you can help intervene and help guide them and maybe discuss also with the adolescent? Yeah,
definitely. Being proactive is definitely what would be the best method here. It's better to be proactive rather than reactive with everything. So being proactive and getting in there before it blows up to a bigger issue would be great. And there's plenty of resources out there, and there's plenty of different opportunities. There's groups, there's case management, management, there's individual therapy, there's different community resources that are active in this area that would be beneficial for them to connect with, depending on what the particular struggle is, you know.
Excellent.
So Brian, it has come to our attention that in our community, in the last few years, from time to time, we might see a transient homeless individual. Apparently, through the rail trail connection, these people travel. They're probably not local, but we couldn't exclude the fact that they might also be local, that they usually stop in our community.
Yep.
How is the success in dealing with that, as far as you are concerned, in connecting these people, taking them off the street, and guiding them into a place where they could be feeling safe and guide them back to society?
So any homeless individual that I come across, I always stop, I always introduce myself, let them know that I'm there, I can help connect them with various resources, including shelters. So I make sure that they're aware of that. It's really on that individual if they would like to accept it and move forward in that path. It depends on the person, whether or not they accept it or not. A lot of those individuals also have other struggles too, as well as substance use and mental health as well. So with that comes navigating those issues as well, because maybe a homeless shelter might not necessarily be the best place. They might need to go to either detox or maybe more of an inpatient facility to deal with whatever their struggles are before they can really figure out their homelessness situation.
So obviously sometimes one of the barriers for people seeking help is there's always sometimes a stigma with mental health, and how do we work to reduce that?
Well, I think that talking about it and doing things like this is a great way to reduce stigma. I mean, being more open and willing to have conversations is great, and the more you see it and the more it's out there, the more that reduces that stigma. So it's a really, really great thing to do. As well as just the fact that knowing, like, when you reach out to me or another resource, that's all confidential. So I'm not, releasing, anything or any type of information to anybody, about whatever struggles might be happening or you might be dealing with. That's your own personal struggles, and I'm there to assist you. I'm not there to tell anybody or broadcast it out, right? And so also knowing that if you do come forward with any struggles, also with any type of provider that you work with, that's also going to be confidential as well, so that it's not something that's going to be out in the open, right? It's something that you get to deal with and you control when and where and how and who you tell.
Excellent. Excellent.
And again, to the community, how this discussion came all about is that from time to time, I personally driving through town, sometimes you talk to people that they were good people, good standing people, but for whatever reason, something snaps and they start, you start seeing a different behavior. And I am not trained to really guide them other than physically help them at the time that I talk to them. And that is why Brian over here is a great asset to have, really to use from anybody in the community that sees either a friend, a neighbor, an acquaintance that you think that is not doing well for themselves, and reach out to us, reach out to our local community, the local town police department. Again, the number is 845-221-2111, and really have Brian come out and start the conversation. We do have help, and Dutchess County, we've been talking about mental health. Can you give us briefly to the community what is available out there?
Yeah, so
in Dutchess County for this?
So there's a lot of great places and a lot of good resources out there. So like the Stabilization Center is a really, really great, strong resource. It's right over in Poughkeepsie. It's open 24/7, 365, so it's always staffed. It's It's right over across the street from Mid-Hudson Regional Hospital, but it's a great place if you just need somewhere to get out of the weather or something like that and hang out for a little bit. You can do that. If you're maybe possibly having some struggles with a family member or a friend and you just need to get away for a little bit, it's also a good place to go and just stay a little bit. They have a lot of resources that they can also help you connect with too while you're there. So it's a really good place to go to. In addition to the stabilization center, I mean, obviously if there's always an emergency, go to the hospital or call the police department, call 911, right, depending on how significant your emergency is. There's also Mental Health America, which has a vast amount of resources. They have a veterans program called Vet to Vet. They have case management for adult. They have case management for children, and a whole host of other really amazing resources. In addition to that, there's Aster Care, which is really great for like a lot of the youth in the area. They do a lot of they'll have a lot of therapies, and they also do medication management for the youths, which is really, really great. So if they have a lot of those kind of struggles, Aster is a good one to reach out to. There's also Family Services right over in Beacon, which also does outpatient treatment and medication management, things like that. So those are a few. There's many more, but those are a few.
Excellent. And if there's those who are there culturally sensitive or bilingual services available for certain people?
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Yep. So most locations already offer bilingual, but if that is something in particular that needs to be taken into account, whenever they reach out to me, just make sure you let me know, and I'll help you guide you to something that will have that resource available to you.
Okay, excellent.
So Brian, I know that we will be reaching out also to our local seniors. I believe we have a plan to really go and sit with our local seniors, because again, these are people that they're to themselves. They really don't ask for any help, but we know that sometimes due to the fact that a family member that was taking care of them is, for work reasons or whatever, had to move away from their immediate family senior, they're left to themselves. And sometimes we need somebody to look out to, after, and I believe Brian could be that one person to sit and talk to them. So do you do any of those programs? I mean, we will be going to our seniors over here locally. So
so when it comes to those things, there's a lot of possible programs that you could use. It could be having something like a home health aide come in. So that'd be a nurse or a qualified individual that would come in they come into homes, they meet you wherever you'd be at, and they would spend time with you. They make sure you take your medication and help guide you through your day and your daily stresses or whatever else as far as assistance you might need. So that's a great route to go for that, and I recommend for people to reach out to that. If it comes to something where it might be more of a resource like food, there's food banks that I can assist with connecting you with. For things like that, there's a whole host of things, right? And there's even some county programs for those who are in that stage of life who might be struggling with something like dementia or Alzheimer's. There's a few different programs that they have where you can have like trackers or bracelets on with numbers for family members. So that way, if something happens or you're just having a hard moment, that family member, I should say, is having a hard moment, they have a safe way to reach out, and that's a county-run program for that.
Excellent.
Great.
Well, Brian, thank you so much. And if you had to summarize and give a message to our residents, and just to let them know what they could do briefly, again, just to repeat yourself, what the first steps are so they could reach out to you, what's the process?
So I mean, as soon as you're recognizing change, which it could really be anything, it could be a sudden change in behavior, you can always reach out to me through the police department. Like Manny said a bunch of times, the number there is 845-221-2111, or they can reach out to me through 845-473-2500, extension 3102. That one actually goes to my cell phone, so if they ever are to really trying to get in touch with me, they can do it that way. If it ever is an immediate emergency, though, 911 would be the best route to go. But when they do see changes, preventative approach is the best approach. Reaching out early and trying to really engage with services. The more you prolong things, the harder it's going to be to help get engaged with services. But there always is a chance to engage with services. Every struggle is unique, and each person just needs to get that connection and the support that they need. And being a support to somebody is huge as well.
Excellent.
So to our residents of the town of East Fishkill, you do have somebody out there that is looking out for you. We are here to serve you. We're here to help you. Please don't hesitate if you see any sign of an issue arising, whether it's in your family, like I said, somebody in your neighborhood. Please reach out. We have available resources that we could use. Everything, like Brian said, it's confidential, but we cannot have people in our local streets struggle by themselves, and that's what we do in this kind of awareness presentations. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
Thank you, Supervisor.
Thank you for having me.
Councilman. Yeah, thank you. And like we said, we'll post the numbers on our website, of course, on this informational video. It'll be there. If you need it, please utilize it. Thank you. Have a good day.